Hi, my name is TJ, and my fiance Lynn is videotaping this for our website. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how Rainbow Kids Promise got started. Uh, about 12 years ago, I was in a relationship for almost 8 years with my ex, and when we got together, she had an 18-month-old boy. His name is Parker, and I raised him as my own. And 2 years into our relationship, we chose to have a third child together, since I already had a 13-year-old when we got together. And we actually conceived Tegan at our own home. I inseminated her at our own home with a known donor. 9 months later, we had a little girl named Tegan. So in being together for almost 8 years, things got rocky in our relationship, and I decided that I could not stay any longer in a relationship that was basically emotionally abusive. So in separating, I gave my ex money to move into a new home with the children, and we agreed to share custody of the children together. For 7 months, we co-parented the children in separate homes. It was very difficult for the kids to leave the only home that they knew and go live with their biological mother 4 days a week. They also came to my house 3 days a week. On the days that they came to my house, it was familiar to them and the only home that they knew, and all their friends were here. So it was very easy for them to come back and forth when I was picking them up. On the other hand, when my ex would come to pick them up, they weren't so ready to leave and go to the home that they didn't really know. So the transition for them was definitely a difficult one. There were nights when I would actually stay at my ex's new place, which is something I definitely didn't want to do, but it allowed Tegan to fall asleep because I would lay in bed with her until she fell asleep, and then I would leave and come back to my house. So there were lots of ups and downs with this transition. The kids didn't want to be there. They wanted to stay at my house, and it was constantly reassuring them that, both of us loved them and that they had to share their time now between both homes. My ex got into a new relationship a few months after we got together, and as time went on in that relationship, she didn't want me in the kids' lives more and more. She ended up getting to a point where she didn't allow the kids to come to my home as we agreed. So in order to see my children, I would attend their dance classes and their hockey practices and things of that nature. I figured that her decision to not allow the children to come into my home would eventually blow over, and I would be back to co-parenting the children 3 days a week and her 4 days a week. But unfortunately, as I was going to the children's dance classes and hockey practices, she began to threaten me with a restraining order and told me that I needed to just stay away. I told her that that wasn't going to happen because the children expected me to be there and I wanted to be there, so I was going to continue to come. And when she did threaten me with the restraining order, I would always ask her, why would she do something like that to the children? And unfortunately, I never really got an answer from her. Anyways, the last day that I saw the kids at Tegan's dance class, my ex was going away to Vegas with her new girlfriend, and the kids weren't very happy with the fact that they were going to stay with their grandmother up in Bradenton for those 4 days. They wanted to come stay at my house. Well, that made her angry, and she told Parker that it wasn't his decision, she wasn't going to speak about it, and that the decision was that they were going to Grandma's house. Well, that made Parker upset, and he said he didn't want to go to Grandma's house, and he wanted to come to Mom's house, And then Tegan chimed in that she didn't want to go to Grandma's house, she wanted to go to Mom's house, and both kids got very aggravated with the whole situation, and she basically got them into the vehicle and shut the door and turned around to me and said, "See what you create?" And I was like, "See what I create? If the kids were allowed to come where they wanted to come to, this wouldn't be a problem." But unfortunately, she left very mad. My children left very upset. Tegan was crying, and Parker was mad that he had to go to Grandma's house and not my house. And they drove off. So the following week, when I went to go to dance class, I was leaving work, and a deputy met me getting into my vehicle and served me with a restraining order against my children. So I have not seen my children in 3.5 years because I'm not biologically related to them. And when we went to court, I was told by many people that it was just a formality to go to court and the judge would see right through it and he would drop it. Well, unfortunately, in the state of Florida, because I'm not biologically related to my children, and I was still going to their dance classes and their hockey practices, I fell under the Florida stalking laws. So the restraining order was granted. And again, this is a picture of my children when they were younger. This is a picture of them maybe a year before they were taken away from me. And they were 5 and 9 then, and they're 8 and 12 now. And I went into a deep depression for almost 2 years. I finally came out of that depression and decided that I was going to stand up and fight for my children. So in doing so, I came up with Rainbow Kids Promise, which is being the voice for children of same-sex couples and advocating for them, because there are no laws or anything to protect them in situations such as this. They have no rights and no voice, and neither do the non-biological parents, such as myself. So I ended up realizing that if I was going to take this on and create a foundation to fight for Parker and Tegan, that I would also fight for all the other children that have been dealt the same hand across this country. And that's when Rainbow Kids Promise became a foundation, and we are a legal 501c3, raising money so that we can change legislation and create laws to protect these children. Thank you.